Crimson Desert, a new ecosystem on the horizon. Here, on the edge of discovery, we observe something rather promising emerging from the digital wilderness. It has been some time, years in fact, since an open-world ecosystem demonstrated the delicate balance necessary to sustain prolonged habitation. We recall the masterfully crafted territories, The Witcher 3's monster-haunted valleys, Red Dead Redemption 2's untamed frontier, Breath of the Wild's physics-governed expanse. These were worlds where players didn't merely visit, they inhabited. Hours became days, exploration became ritual. Now, Pearl Abyss presents Crimson Desert, and the early observations suggest an environment carefully designed to support this same phenomenon. The developers appear to understand what draws players to settle in virtual landscapes: the freedom to hunt, to battle, to simply exist within these boundaries. To pause, if you will, and appreciate the craftsmanship. Particularly intriguing is their apparent evolution from Black Desert Online. That previous ecosystem, you see, suffered from invasive monetization, predatory systems that disrupted the natural player experience. The species rejected it. Pearl Abyss, it seems, has observed this behavior and adapted accordingly. What awaits us remains uncertain, of course. But the evidence gathered thus far, gameplay demonstrations, developer statements, careful design choices, points toward a rare occurrence in this territory. A world built first for exploration and only then for profit. In the months ahead, we shall discover whether this optimism is warranted or merely wishful thinking. The apex predator question. In the hierarchy of open-world ecosystems, there exists a rarefied tier, occupied by only a select few. The Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. These are the apex specimens, the evolutionary peaks against which all others are measured. And now, Pearl Abyss ventures into this territory. What they've constructed appears, at first observation, to be something we haven't witnessed in nearly a decade. A world of considerable scale and ambition. One where exploration, combat, and simple existence seem to coexist in unusual harmony. The elements, from early evidence, appear to be converging towards something rather special. But here lies the daunting reality. Matching those legendary ecosystems is a feat few have accomplished. The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't simply provide entertainment. They created habitats so convincing that leaving them felt like abandonment. Can Crimson Desert achieve this? It's a question that hovers over the entire endeavor. We observe, across the gaming landscape, a curious behavioral shift among players. Trust, once freely given, has eroded considerably. The Assassin's Creed series, despite its annual migrations, no longer satisfies that deep hunger for meaningful exploration. The territories feel hollow, procedural rather than purposeful. And then came Cyberpunk 2077's catastrophic launch, a watershed moment. Here was a promised paradise that arrived broken, unfinished. The damage to player confidence was profound. CD Projekt Red eventually restored their creation to health, demonstrating that redemption is possible. But the scar tissue remains. For many, it was the last time they dared hope for transformative, open-world experiences. Which brings us back to Crimson Desert, and to this moment of collective anticipation. Players, myself included, find ourselves holding our breath, cautious, skeptical, yet undeniably hopeful. Pearl Abyss faces an audience that no longer pre-orders on faith alone, an audience burned too many times by promised worlds that never materialized. But if the evidence before us proves accurate, if this ecosystem truly delivers on its apparent promise, we may witness something extraordinary. The question isn't whether we want Crimson Desert to succeed. The question is whether it can survive the weight of our expectations. The final countdown. We are now mere weeks from launch, and the evidence mounting before us grows increasingly compelling. Trailers arrive in steady succession, each revealing new layers of complexity. Gameplay footage demonstrates systems working in apparent harmony, crafting, exploration, combat, all interwoven with unusual elegance. The developers continue to showcase features that, in lesser ecosystems, would strain credibility. Yet here, remarkably, they appear to function as promised. The hype, as they say, is building, and for once, it seems earned rather than manufactured. I confess, I find myself drawn to this prospect with uncommon anticipation. The thought of entering Crimson Desert's territory, of spending days, perhaps weeks, discovering its secrets, holds considerable appeal. But we must temper this enthusiasm with memory. Pearl Abyss has, after all, disappointed before. Black Desert's monetization left many wary of returning to their creations. The question remains, have they truly evolved, or will history repeat itself? In the weeks ahead, we shall have our answer. A new journey begins. This marks a transition of sorts. From this point forward, I'll be documenting the arrival of new gaming ecosystems as they emerge, observing, analyzing, and yes, experiencing them alongside you. If you've found value in this exploration, I would be genuinely grateful for your support. A like, a subscription, these small gestures make a considerable difference to a channel in its early stages of development. Until next time, happy hunting.